We are back, and by being back, I mean I am recording a bunch of new podcast episodes for you. So as I'm recording this, I am going to be in the beginning phases of getting ready for Master Prac for NLP. So I did my NLP training first in March of this year, and then again in July of this year because the cyclone interrupted the March one. And now I'm doing Master Prac. And oh my gosh, I know that the shifts and I'm wearing headphones, I just took them off. The shifts and the breakthroughs are going to be next level. Welcome to Start Somewhere, the bingeable podcast for the ambitious, self-development obsessed who know they are meant for more. More money, more freedom, more fun. Each week, I expose the sexy truths about manifestation, feminine mindset, and rituals to keep your body and lifestyle thriving. I'll show you how to move through change like it's your runway moment. Welcome to our grounded space to becoming self-obsessed and seducing your own life, where we start with the first step, not the entire staircase. Let's start somewhere together. I'm super excited to be standing here recording so many more episodes for you. And, I always have a bunch of episodes that I know will provide you guys so much value based on the conversations I have with listeners, with my community, and with my clients. And I love to just really start things off in a real freestyle kind of way because, I'm all for like setting a plan, having a structure, like that's the masculine side of things, which I hope you're also doing in business and also your life. And then there's also the really beautiful balance of being in your feminine and being able to flow through the structure and the systems and the plan that you've created for yourself. And so this episode is going to be a little bit unfiltered, a little bit raw. I mean, aren't they always? And honestly, we are going to go to all areas of where my emotions have been at recently, which have been quite interesting to reflect upon. So as I'm recording this, it was the full moon a few days ago. And normally full moons don't really get me too bad these days. However, honestly, like 2 days ago, I've been going through some not heavy emotions, but through some new emotions that I feel I haven't really met before. And to give a bit of context, so a part of the mastermind that I'm in, I'm a part of a 6-month high-level mastermind where I pay a lot of money. So much money, if you were to know, you would probably wee yourself. And we had an in-person event for this mastermind a few weekends ago. And it was full of business and strategy, and at the same time, a lot of feminine, flowy, really beautiful practices and rituals to help us get more in our bodies and connect deeper to our mission when it comes to our business. And of course, doing all this type of work, I've got work here in quotations, is going to bring up a bunch of new emotions. And so I feel like it's kind of been brewing since then. And then now that I have Master Prac coming up in 4 days as I'm recording this, I've set the intention that I will be getting the best breakthroughs that I want. And I've felt it's been brewing for quite some time. And I've even had these conversations with my mentors, and it's here basically. And so it makes sense that the other day, all these emotions are coming up to the surface. I'm kind of beating around the bush right now. I'm kind of being very high chunk. So I want to be super, super specific with what exactly is going on, which is a little bit scary to share. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I feel like I've been playing it way too safe. It doesn't even do it justice. Just surface when it comes to who I'm being in dating. Oh my gosh. This feels so stretchy to share. I don't know why. So I have this really interesting analogy that this visual that came to my mind the other day in a meditation, and I just shared this with one of my friends just before. So I feel like for so long when I've been going on dates and attracting different people into my life, which I have a few since moving to the Gold Coast, each has been very different to the other. And when I look back upon reflection, each is essentially like a new level from the other one, okay? And so I have this analogy, this visualization where I've been on a lily pad in a pond, and I've been hopping from lily pad to lily pad, subconsciously knowing that it's purely a stepping stone. It's purely a lily pad, and that's it. Not the real thing, not the real deal. And then coming back to this visualization, it's like I've hopped on all these other lily pads, and the only thing left for me to do now is swim. is to jump off that final lily pad and into the pond. And as I was sharing this with my friend just before, she's like, you will swim. There's no ounce of drowning, you will swim. And that's the thing. Let me map this back across to how this whole visualization is actually relevant to you right now and why you should continue listening. Map this across. Firstly, where in your life you're playing it way too safe. And then secondly, if you're somebody that tunes into this podcast regularly, listens to other self-development work, invests in mentors, coaches, programs, invest in yourself regularly, there is no way you are actually going to attract the same situations again and again. And that is purely because your frequency, your energy, your vibration has shifted. And sometimes that can be really hard for us to digest and come to terms with. And that's just a matter of fact. So I know I have these conversations endlessly in my coaching world with my clients where they are drastically jumping, right? Not even to like these lily pads, but they're just jumping to new heights. They're learning new things. They're up-leveling continuously. Once you start to do that, the way that you used to operate 2, 3, 4, 6 months ago doesn't even have the space to come back into your life, come back into your world. And what I've noticed from this as well, which I feel is something that isn't spoken about enough when it comes to manifestation, is that oftentimes you will outgrow people, places, and things. And that purely was a big part as to why I moved out of my first apartment when I moved to the Gold Coast. I knew in my soul that place was purely a stepping stone. Little did I know it would be the shortest lived stepping stone that ended up in me breaking a lease and moving out and it being a whole kerfuffle, apparently. To me, it was fine. And for me to be in that moment and to honor my truth and listen to my intuition, that's the part where a lot of people shy away. So confidence takes courage. Positivity also takes immense courage because it is so much easier to settle and to blend in with the rest. So if you're somebody who's super fit and healthy and active and you're spending a week away with people that are overweight, lazy, and could not care less about their health and fitness, chances are it is so much easier for you to conform to how they live their life, to picking out on junk food, to not exercising, to sleeping in, to not caring for your health. It's way easier to just blend into what the rest of the crowd are doing, opposed to you actually breaking the norm, getting up, exercising, eating healthy, eating different foods. And so where in your life are you coming down to like this lower standard? And environment is beyond crucial for people like you who are into self-development, who have a business or who want to have a business. And that's why tuning into podcasts like this, having mentors, having coaches by your side, having friends online and in person who actually get what you're going through is so important. And not even that they just get it, that they're also lifting you to this higher standard. And so environment is everything, okay? And so I want you to ask yourself, who are the people that you are spending the majority of your time with? And granted, it's your family, it's people that you're living with at home. I want you also to broaden this perspective. Who are the people you're following on Instagram that you regularly love to see their content? Who are the people that you're having conversations with online? Are you in a coaching container? Who are the women in that space? Who's your mentor? Who's your coach? Is it me? If not, it should be. What space are you putting yourself in continuously? Okay. And something as well that I feel a lot of people maybe don't even realize is that there is so much power in paying to play. Now, what do I mean by this? Paying to put yourself in rooms, in containers, in spaces with people that are so far beyond in their journey compared to you. And what I mean by that is that they can bridge where they are versus where you are. You always want to be somebody in a room where there are people that are doing bigger and better than you so that they can stretch you and lift you up. And this is the difference between people that do the work and make sense of these concepts versus people who see that as like self-comparison and like, oh my gosh, I feel so insecure. And like that is the difference that we're speaking on here. Okay. And so I'm speaking to the latter I'm speaking to the latter, which is when you can be inspired and uplifted by these types of people, by these conversations. So this high-level mentorship container that I'm in, it's not all, you're doing well, Isabel, like, keep going, like, claps for you. Like, there's a lot of hard-hitting conversations that I've had. And oh my gosh, I have grown so fast, so rapidly. And when I had this really like interesting emotional release breakthrough, I don't know what it was, just yesterday, I had to like double check about 4 times that last year was actually when my engagement ended, when I left my 9 to 5, and when I was still living at home with my parents in Adelaide. I was like, no, that was 2-3 years ago. I was like, whoa, that was less than 12 months ago. And I mean, if you're watching us on YouTube, like, I literally look so different in terms of my vibe, how I'm showing up, my aesthetic compared to last year. And this is the byproduct. This is the outcome of continuing to choose yourself and move with intention and taking the step way before the step even appears. And this is exactly how I move. So this time last year, I kind of knew what NLP was, and there's no way I even knew that was going to be in my awareness this year. I knew I wanted to move out and leave Adelaide. Gold Coast was not even in the plan. For so long, I was like, Gold Coast, like, I put it in a box and I was like, nah, it feels too like influency, like tacky, like that's what I thought it was like. And like, you get to create your reality. You get to create what that's like for you. And that's 100% not the life that I have here. So Gold Coast was not even on my plan. And then the fact that I've now moved twice since living in the Gold Coast, and the place I live, the house I live, the area I'm in, the lifestyle I get to live, the routines I have, if I could like transport to Isabel 12 months ago and be like, hey girl, like this will be your life, I think the 12-month-old version me would just have her jaw dropped to the ground and be in awe. My life continuously feels like a movie, and I love that I just continuously think and feel this. I quite literally said this to my friend about 30 minutes ago. We were in a gym class and we were speaking about whatever we were speaking about, and I said, my life just feels like a movie. It just continues to feel this way. And so I want to ask yourself, how would you move if you also knew your life was a movie, where you are the main character of the show, of the movie, of the set? You are the star, okay? Everybody else are supplementary characters. They're extras. They're side characters. Then maybe there's more key characters in your life that make an appearance daily. How would you move if you knew your life was a movie? And this is where we get to insert really fun modalities and practices like manifestation and visualization. How can you start to gamify certain things in your life? And what I mean by this, if you have a task that needs to be done, I know when I first moved and furniture needed to be made and just random house stuff, how can I turn it into a game? You know, set a timer, have a video, have a movie playing, and make sure I get it done in that time frame. Reward yourself for something at the end. How can you make every single moment of your life so much fun and have so much joy? Because when you move this way, people are going to be magnetized to you like that. And I'm at a point in life now where I am a busy bee, which I love. And I used to be somebody who I would always say yes to socializing purely for the sake of socializing. I'm a social butterfly. And at the same time, I'm now at a point where I'm finding myself saying no way more than I say yes. And I get excited about that because I say yes to intentional catch-ups and intentional people. And I now know where to honor my boundaries and honor my time. And that's the thing when you step further into entrepreneurship and your business. We all hear time is your most valuable asset. There's only 24 hours in a day, yada, yada, yada. Unless you get up at like 4 a.m. and you have like a whole day before midday. And where are the areas in your life where your time is being spread thin? I feel I'm somebody where I am fantastic at optimizing my time. Like, for example, if there's a bunch of like random admin stuff I need to do on my phone, I will think ahead in my day, where is a moment in my life in that day where perhaps I might be waiting for a gym class to start. I might be in the car waiting to go into a certain appointment and I have, 4 or 5 minutes up my sleeve. That's then when I will do those like random little phone tasks. So like I want you to be really mindful and really intentional. Where and when are you choosing to exert your energy? So for example, it's not even 10 a.m. and I'm recording a podcast. And this is when I know I can communicate and convey my message and have the most energy, opposed to perhaps 3 or 4 p.m. in the afternoon. That being said, it's all a choice. I can easily just choose to turn it on and have the energy. However, I know I perform way better in the morning. And so it's different for every single person. I know a lot of clients I speak to, they're night owls. They love to be up late at night on their laptop in bed, typing away on their keyboard. Everybody is different. It's all about finding your flow. It's all about finding what is best for you. So I know I've completely digressed from how I actually started this episode. I mean, that's how we roll around here. And I feel this conversation will be a to be continued conversation because there's still very early days of these interesting emotions that are coming up for me, particularly when it comes to love and romance. And, I feel like there are people... Okay, let's just be real. I feel like there's somebody in my world that is coming to me in terms of a romantic partner. I feel it. And that feeling is like scaring the hell out of me. Which, I mean, if you listen to my episodes, you know the whole story, you know the backstory, the past. It's in the past, that's fine. And the fact that I can feel it in my energy, like so much nearer, is like scaring me, I'm going to say. And so I actually have a call with my mentor in a couple hours, and I'm just keen to go into all these kind of concepts and what's going on here, because who you're being is exactly who you will attract. And I don't know if it's living in the Gold Coast where it's like you can think of something and it manifests right in front of your reality. Well, for me, it does anyway. Yet again, this is a byproduct of who you surround yourself by is exactly what is going to be brought into your reality. And so I'm kind of going off topic here. If you knew that your words were spells, if you knew that what you visualize in your mind then gets to form in your reality, what thoughts would you be choosing differently? How would you be showing up differently? And that's what I really want to like cement in your mind right now, because I've done so much subconscious reprogramming, particularly the past like 5 months. And oh my gosh, that stuff is dangerously powerful. And it's always a byproduct of who you're being. And so to end on a note here with a real life example. So I set a financial goal in my business that I wanted to achieve by September. I achieved the goal in October. Was I still happy? Hell yes. Like 30 days later, I will gladly take that. And that being said, I was moving in the month of September and everything was up in the air. Furniture, like my bed, I didn't have a desk. My schedule was like insane. So I will happily take that and celebrate myself. And upon reflection, I can now see how all the steps led me to that place. It wasn't just like, oh, I want this financial goal, click of a finger, Isabel's magic. She talks about manifesting, boom, it's here. It's the steps leading up to it that brought me to that position. And that's the work that we don't see and talk about enough, which is like what I am attempting to articulate here. Yeah, for some reason. This is a to be continued episode. I know that deep down. And when I achieved that goal and it sunk in, and I think I only realized it last week. I was doing my numbers for the month and I'm like, oh my God, like I did it. I did that goal I've been working towards for so many months. And when I look back, I'm like, it was who I was being that got me to that place. It was all the steps along the way. It was following my intuition. It was moving when it made no sense. Like I think I've shared this a few times, maybe on Instagram and a few reels, me moving like out of that first place. Like I knew it was a stepping stone. And at the same time, it also didn't make too much sense to move because like logistics, I was on a lease, like, a lot of stuff to work through. And I was like, it'll get figured out. That was just my mindset. I'm like, it honestly did not sweat on my back at all. I'm like, it'll completely fall into place exactly as it should. And that's exactly what happened. And then I achieved that goal not long after. as that's a byproduct of me listening to my intuition, following my truth, moving way before the step even appears. And I want to leave you with this question here. Where is something in your life where you are waiting for the step to appear? You're like, yes, once this thing finally happens, then I'll take the step. Then I'll invest in myself. Then I'll start to post more on social media. Then I'll reach out to that person to start working with them. Then I'll buy that course. Oh, but let me just wait for 2026. Let me just wait for my hair to look a certain way. Let me just wait to have more space in my calendar. The thing is, you are going to continuously be like the same busy. You're continuously going to have the same excuses. Like, think about it. When we're in a really busy period of our life and then it finally slows down, there's normally always something else that comes in its place, because that is the energy that you're vibrating in. So instead of using it as an excuse, how can you use it to your advantage and be like, cool, I'm really busy and have 4 different commitments and 2 jobs and 4 projects going on at the moment. And I'm also going to say yes to myself. That's where you're going to see the results. That's where you are going to see everything transform in your reality. How do I know that? Because that's exactly how I move. That's how my clients move. That's how my friends move. That's how everybody in my world moves. It's normal for us. And I want it to be normal for you. So consider this your personal invitation to shine the light on where are these like shadow sides in yourself? Where are these parts of yourself that you're diminishing and that you're just not allowing to have the spotlight yet? Because nobody is clearing the stage and waiting to call your name. You have to insert yourself on that stage and announce yourself. And I'm talking completely figuratively here. Unless you want to be on a stage, join me, right? I'm talking in terms of showing up on social media, starting your business, asking for the sale, reaching out to somebody because you need to learn something from them, whatever it is. Until you start to move that way, your reality is going to look the same. And chances are you love growth and up-leveling and moving and shifting and living a dream life, whatever a dream life means to you. Like, I'm really sitting in the feeling like if I could just teleport to Isabel 12 months ago and just show her a glimpse of her life, like living in this beautiful home in Burleigh with 2 incredible aligned housemates that are also equally killing it in business, and to be in that energy and to have the most beautiful friendships in my world here, and to be investing in high-level mentorship and containers and learning and quite literally up-leveling every single 2, 3, 4 weeks. And it's fun to move this way because you get to be this elevated version of yourself. Like yesterday I went shopping for a new outfit, which I'm wearing right now if you watch me on YouTube. And this outfit cost a lot of money. And I did not even look at the price tag when I bought it. And normally I love looking at price tags. I love to be very mindful of my money, okay? And yet for some reason I walked into one of my favorite stores. I went to the sale rack, funnily enough, didn't like anything. Walked over to the other side, found this beautiful 2-piece set, tried it on, bought it. Then I got home, I'm like, shit, how much did this actually cost me? And I was like, whoa, that was just for the pants? And I got a top and it's a matching set? And then it hit me. For so long, I've been somebody that looks at price tags and needs to get sale things. And don't get me wrong, I still love to move that way, right? Nothing wrong with that. And the fact I was just able to walk into the store and buy this beautiful outfit that I really feel is me honoring and stepping into that next version of myself. Without checking the price tag, I will continue to emphasize that because that is so, that's such a great moment for me, right? Imagine how you get to move. Maybe that's not what you want to do. Maybe there's other ways you want to be moving and showing up in your life. Perfect. Get clear on what that is and start to move that way. Because as soon as we don't know exactly what we want, we are just going to get things that don't truly align, things that don't truly make sense. Sure, they may look great on paper and they may be good for the minute. And don't you want it to be great? I'm going to leave this one here. We went all over the place. And like I mentioned, this will be a 2 continued episode. I can almost guarantee after Master Prac, my mindset and lessons and learnings and insights I will be sharing on the podcast will be on a whole new level. So you better buckle in, keep up to date with all of our episodes, catch up on our recent episodes as well. Guys, there is so much value on this podcast. If you have not binged all our episodes at least 2 times, you're seriously sleeping on so much missed potential in growth in your business and your personal life. I love you. Thank you for listening. I'll catch you in our next week's episode. Mwah!